Today we're going to work with Google Drive and we're going to learn how to create a form. We're going to use this form as a short assessment, an exit ticket, a warm-up, something that isn't going to take a lot of time, but something that the kids can do on the computer or iPad or phone or tablet. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to New, go to Google Form, and we'll get a new pop-up window. And we're going to create our form. Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to change the title. Our title is both here and here up at the top. So we're going to rename it. I'm going to name mine Exit Ticket. A&E Purple 11/19/2014. And I'm going to put in the date. That way I can keep all my exit tickets separate within my drive. Now, once I go to another box, you'll notice that my name changes up here. So now that I've got it named, I'm going to come over to my form settings. Now I'm not going to show a progress bar because this is a quick short assessment. So it's only going to be one question. So I'm not going to shuffle the question order either. I do only want one response, but I don't want to have the time of my kids logging in, having to fix all of the logins that they do wrong. So we're going to make it that anyone can respond as long as they have the web address. So we're not going to click that either. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to come down to question. So I'm going to put my title question. That's just going to be the question I'm going to make. And I have question type. Now the default is multiple choice, and I'm going to leave it that. But if I were to click my down arrow, you're going to see I can make it a text, a paragraph text, check boxes, kids can choose from a list. There's a lot of things that I can do. I'm going to leave it as a multiple choice. I'm going to have a really easy question for my kids to answer based off of what we did today. Another thing that you can do is you can have students answer your objective from the day. Make that a text, paragraph text question. That way you can kind of get an idea if the kids understood what you did in class. All right, so I'm going to have evaluate -6 plus 19. Not going to give any help text. I'm going to go straight down to my options, which are my choices. I'm going to put in my answer choices. As I go, once I click into a box, the next box will appear, so I don't have to add anything. It just shows up magically for you. Oops, I already have that. So now I have all my 4 choices. When I go down, I want to make sure I make this a required question so that they know they do have to answer it. That'll put a red asterisk beside it. And then I'm done. If you notice, there's my little red asterisk. That's telling my students that they have to answer this question. Now, my confirmation page. This is what the kids are going to see once they've answered the question. I don't want to show the link to submit another response. Again, I only want one response per student. I don't want to publish and show the public link to form results. You could do this when you get a little more comfortable. This would be a great thing to show the kids. This is what all of our class said. And then I don't want to allow my responders to edit after submitting. Again, if you're doing it like a paragraph text, you may want to allow them to go back and edit their response. But for what we're using it for right now, it's really not applicable. So here's my send form. Once I click my send form, I am going to get the link to my form. So there's my really long link. And it doesn't really make any sense as far as the letters or anything that they put, and it is pretty long. I can shorten it within my form, but again, none of it really makes sense. So later, within our day's activities, I'm going to show you how to make a QR code and how to do a bit.ly so we can kind of make more sense of our web links and the QR code so kids can just walk up with their phones, iPads, tablets, take a picture, fill out your exit or warm-up ticket, and be on their way. First thing I'm going to do, or the next thing I'm going to do, is I'm going to put my email address in here. Now by doing this, I am sending this to myself, but what I want you to do is I want you to create one and send it to me. And that way I can go and look at what you did, make some responses for you, give you some advice how to make it better, or tell you you're awesome and it was a great job. So once I've done that, I'm going to hit send. And you're done. Now, the great thing about this is that you've got a response page. Now, when I go to my summary of responses, I don't have any, but that's one of the ways that you could look at your responses. So I'm going to close out of that, and I'm going to close out of this. Here's the response page that Form creates for you. They create their response page in their sheets. So it's titled the same thing as yours, except it just says responses on the end. And there's a timestamp so you know when the kids put in their answer and what their answer will be. So again, I'm going to close this, go back to my exit ticket, and I'm going to put a few responses in. So I'm going to go view the live form. Ta-da! This is what it's going to look like. I'm going to put a few answers in. It will record these. And that way I'll have some data to show you what we can do with this when we're done. So I'm going to put a few responses in. It's really easy if you play around with this. Oh, I don't want to do that. Do not want to edit the form right now. Just wanted to submit. All right, so I've got 3 answers in there. I'm going to close this out. Now, my answers automatically go to my response page. And if you notice, here's all my answers. Here's the time that I put them in. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to Form, and I'm going to show Summary of Response. Now you've got 35 kids, 30 kids in your class. You can come to this page, one question, boom, there you go. 67% of my kids said it was -13. I need to go back and do some reteaching. Quick, easy, will take you 5 minutes. So what I would like you to do now is I'd like you to go and I'd like you to create a exit ticket or warm-up ticket, email it to me, and then we'll go from there.